I mean this with absolutely zero exaggeration. This is by far one of the best anime seasons we've ever had. Which sucks because due to my busy schedule, I could only watch probably about half as many shows as I wanted. And yes, I've still watched relatively a lot, but yeah, you get the point. The way this season got me feeling though is like if I was a kid in a candy store, but it wasn't just candy being sold there. It's like if the store had a whole ass arcade, VR setup, roller coasters, go-karting, laser tag, and then to top it all off, an unlimited supply of Nerds Rope. That shit don't just sound like heaven, that sounds downright... Well, actually, yeah, let's just call it heaven to keep it simple. But now I'd like to say 07 to the shows I unfortunately missed out on that have been highly regarded by the broader anime community. Call of the Night Season 2, Dr. Stone Season 4 Part 2, are they doing that same naming scheme as Attack on Titan? Whatever. Rising of the Vending Machine, wait, that's not right. Rising of the Harem Hero, wait, that's also not it. Rising of the Shield Hero Season 4, Grand Blue Season 2, that one Yuri show where the main character and that one other chick should have fucking died in episode 1 since they literally jumped off the building from like, what, 50 feet up and landed on a tree or something? You are just a handful of shows that I couldn't have watched today, but you will be watched in the future for sure one of these days. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to the main reason why you're here. I watched a whopping 20 anime for this season of summer 2025, and we're going to rank them on a tier list. You've been here before, you know how this works. So if you enjoy these tier lists, please consider dropping a sub so you can help support the channel for the future, and comment down which show you enjoyed the most and which show was an underrated gem or a surprise for you. I do these at the end of every season, and I enjoy the hell out of doing these videos, and I only want to give you the best of the best and want to improve with each and every video after. So now, with all of that done, let's get into the ranking of summer 2025. Clevites. We really are starting off with a certified banger. I love the uniqueness of the premise and the story, and the quality of the animation is extremely top-notch, especially since it was made on... Wait. Am I reading this right? Cell shade animation? In the big 2025? It's been so long since we've had a show employ that I thought it was becoming a lost art. But these guys over at Studio Leduc, Leducky? Whatever. We're able to pull this Herculean task off flawlessly. And the character design of the main cast is amazing. I love everybody's personality in the main cast. This is just so fun all around if you're looking for a unique fantasy setting and show as a whole. A tier. This has got to be one of, if not the, most aesthetically pleasing shows I think I've ever seen in my whole life. I love its whole color scheme and the fact that I feel happier than how I normally would be when I watch this show. Written by the same author of Nichijou fame and produced by the legendary Kyoto Animation, this show is simply about the daily lives of everyone living in the city, and everyone in that city being silly little guys. Like, look at them. They're so silly. Don't they make you want to just hee hoo hoo all the time? And while City may be about the daily lives of everyone in the city, it mainly follows Nagumo, Nikura, and Izumi, who are also being silly, but it's the main character version of silly. This show's comedy is top-notch, up on a level with the likes of his other story Nichijou, Konosuba, and Golden Boy. But its comedic beats aren't the only thing that make this show good. There's a side plot that spans over multiple episodes that got so sad it made me want to cry and hold my friends in a deep hug. Even if a couple of the jokes don't land as hard as others might, you're still going to have a ton of fun with this show disguised as a dessert treat. A tier. Dandadan Season 2. Peak! Yes, it's peak. Nobody can deny that, and it might have dropped the Song of the Year in accordance. But what else is there to expect when you're dealing with the mind of a man who was an assistant to the one and only Tatsuki Fujimoto? That being said, Science Saru has, in my humble opinion that's objectively fact, knocked this adaptation out of the park for a game-winning Grand Slam in the World Series. This is such a wacky series that every character that gets introduced, regardless of good guy or bad guy, just feels like it's such a natural fit for the series. And Seiko. Oh my fuck! I didn't know I needed hair down Seiko as much as I do. This look got me going feral! And let me just say, how this show displays Momo and Okarun and their romantic development is one of the most realistic and cutest things I've ever seen. Gigi has become one of my favorites mainly due to his emotional range. He could be at one moment his carefree self all happy and shit, then the next moment he knows when to get serious and he knows when he fucks up in a certain point of the show. The character writing has been unbelievable to watch, and this has been by far the easiest S tier to ever give. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. I fucking love this show. If I had only one word to describe how I felt during my time with this show, that one would be heartthrob. When I watched the first episode, I wasn't immediately hooked, which was surprising considering this kind of romance was my bread and butter. Then I got to learn about the main couple's friends and their upbringing and how it all leads back to the two main characters being the way that they are now, and all I could think was that this show was sweeter than the cake that Kaoruko goes to the cake shop for. Both Kaoruko and Rintaro are the sweetest people in this show, and their chemistry together is the main reason why I would put this show over most of the other romance anime I've ever watched. This show gives amazing quality in its animation and detail and leaves nothing left out. The part about this show that I love the most is that the story structure and setup immaculately displays so that it's not going to be a question of will they, won't they, but it's more so going to be a prediction of when they will. Absolute S tier. Futari Solo Camp. Let me be real frank with you. I tried. I really tried. I couldn't get past 3 episodes. Everybody is just so freaking unlikable, especially the main girl, whatever her name is. This girl really tried encroaching herself onto the main character's camp area, annoys the ever-loving shit out of him, and me as an extension, when he just simply wants to be alone. Messes up his belongings and other personal stuff, then decides to herself, wait, do I actually like this person? All of this happened in just one singular episode. F tier. Gachi Akuta. Trash. The anime. And it is anything but. This kind of trash would make Mother's Basement's trash kitchen go up in flames because there's some trash mixed in that was irresponsibly unmarked as flammable. This show is gritty, and it's so refreshing to have a protagonist that can be considered ruthless. Rudo is willing to do anything and everything to get revenge against his one target. All the while, we see other sides to him that make him a multifaceted and really interesting main character. He cares for his newfound friends and family and would do anything to protect them. And the other characters all have personalities that make them memorable in their own right. I also love the environment this show brings and immensely respect the work of the animators for bringing to life a trash world that's seemingly endless. And it has an OP that would have probably taken any other studio twice as long from the beginning of production to now. Like, look at this! It's insane! As the season truly starts to reveal itself, we're gonna learn even more about how the society on the ground level functions, and I'm excited to see how the second core plays out. Another absolute S tier. Kaiju number 8 second season. Big world-threatening monsters fight more big world-threatening monsters. And goddamn is it cool. Especially the second season of this show. So now that we got our cool factor quota out of the way, let's just give a quick analysis. Kaiju number 8 carries on the plot with fighting Kaiju number 9, and it gets tense and the stakes are raised to the highest level. And while it was understandable why it had to be done, I missed how Kafka just meshed so well with the cast of season 1 and seemed to just be so happy and have fun. The all-straight business and serious approach of the cast just doesn't hit the same when some of the most enjoyable moments were the camaraderie of last season. Narumi, while great as a comedy point in his own right, isn't enough to make up for what else is missing, and it really shows. The action, though, I will say is top-notch, and its choreography to its direction is great and a treat for the eyes. I'm excited to see what Season 3 holds beyond this. B tier. Sword of the Demon Hunter Second Core. I'm just bored of this one. I thought the last core was going to be leading up to something that was shown in this core, but it's just not doing anything noteworthy. Mostly just multiple episodes of more and more dialogue that puts me to sleep faster than melatonin ever could. Then all of a sudden, the main character now has a kid dropped on him out of nowhere, and he's raising it on his own? Honestly, I can't get attached to anybody here, and it sucks that I can't. D tier. My Dress Up Darling second season. How the hell do they make this show even better? No, seriously, how? This show has already solidified itself as one of the best shows of the 2020s and one to remember for years to come, and they just took it to the next level. Cloverworks, if you're listening, I want you to take a freaking bow and go on your victory lap. You've seriously turned from a studio that was either hit or miss to a studio that has absolutely perfected their craft in actually every single way. As of right now, Cloverworks is my studio of the decade. Their resume has been absolutely impeccable. Everything they did to My Dress Up Darling for this season has catapulted it into the anime stratosphere. So much detail was put into the cosplay outfits and comedic bits, and its direction has been nothing short of amazing. Everybody is so expressive, and it's so easy to attach to all the characters. Even the characters that have only 4 seconds of screen time are more memorable than most of the show's main characters I've watched in the past couple of seasons. And the star of the show herself, Marin Kitagawa, there is a reason why so many in the anime community have her as one of the best female characters of all time. Her energy is so contagious, and her passion for a hobby such as cosplay is downright inspiring. There's so many other positive things I could say about her, but I'll end it by saying that Marin needs to become a case study on how to write female characters in the best possible way for future authors down the line. Another amazing S tier. Rascal does not dream of Santa Claus. Everything that made the Rascal series so good has been implemented in the same exact way for what you could basically say is a season 2. The dialogue is my favorite part of the series, as it just deviates so far from the norm from what you normally expect in an anime. And that alone makes the show still extremely engaging even 7 years later. Add in a sprinkle of quantum physics and the result ends up being a formula that gives this show as much replayability as Attack on Titan. An underrated portion of the show is its art format and how satisfying each one becomes when a character's story comes to a close. And I won't lie, the twist in this season really got me. I won't spoil for obvious reasons, but what I will say is that if you haven't watched this show yet, you're in for a treat plus dessert. Shit, I kinda want some Sour Patch now. Ruri rocks. Minerals. The anime. And holy fuck is it beautiful! If you told me Studio Bind, the makers of Mushoku Tensei and Onimai, had the creative ability to make simple rocks, minerals even, so pretty and fun to learn and watch, I would believe you. Not to mention, they also created another entrant of the top 10 hottest women on Earth, but that's beside the point. Every episode contains a whole journey into the nature of the world in just 20 minutes, and in the really short and brief intermissions the show gives, it gives a whole science lesson into how certain rocks are formed. It's done and displayed in such an entertaining way that I actually want to learn more about this subject that I previously would have casted off as something boring and irrelevant. So the moral of the story is, if you have a hyper-specific subject you want to teach people about, make sure you put a really hot anime woman as the poster child for it and you'll have amazing results. A tier. Sakamoto Days second season. Wait, what is this I'm witnessing here? Wait, there's no way this can be real, right? This is real? Oh my goodness, we have proper fight scenes! Let me preface this by saying that I haven't read the manga at all. But even I could tell that the first season was disappointing relative to the hype it got, and regular anime viewers could see just how many corners were cut during the production process. I mean, for the love of God, the first season was a PowerPoint presentation more than it was actual animation. It was almost on the level of Blue Lock Season 2, minus the end, of course. But because of the improvement to Season 2, I feel like I can actually enjoy the show for what it was meant to be in the first place. Plenty of new characters have a certain flair to them with their own styles of fighting, and it's pretty damn engaging to watch. The best part so far is the fact, even with everything that's seemingly going on between life and death, between the protagonists and the villains, everybody around them that's supposed to be a civilian is witnessing the spectacle and is just brushing it off as if it's just an everyday normal thing that just happens in their daily lives. If the Leaning Tower of Pisa somehow stood straight, they'd freak out more there than all the explosions and murders that happen in their own vicinity, and that's one of the best gags I've seen in a while. Low A tier. Secrets of the Silent Witch. The socially anxious curse strikes again. And its victim this time is literally one of the 7 most powerful witches in the whole world. Monica Everett, who recently became one of the 7 sages, is tasked with living a double life as a high school student while guarding the royalty that is the second prince, Felix Arc Radil, from various dangers lurking within the campus. And she has a demeanor where all you want to do is just protect her. I don't care if she doesn't need any protecting. I'm gonna do it anyway. She's charming as hell, and even through all her anxiety and stutters, she develops into a character that can learn to trust her friends and be less isolated from everyone and everything. She may not show it much, but Monica's natural intelligence really tends to remind you time and time again of the gap between her and everyone else, and that she is just built different. This show makes clever use of its villains, and it's pretty significant, yet barely talked about political ramifications. Students from different houses compete against one another for status and fame in various activities like Harry Potter would if playing Quidditch had a grand prize of sheer nobility and bitches to last you a lifetime. I never watched Harry Potter, so I don't know if that made sense, but if it did, great. If not, then I'll go commit crime. High A tier. Takapi's Original Sin. This show really needs its own video dedicated to, because in just 6 episodes, the roller coaster of emotions I rode made me ponder my whole entire life and every choice that I've made up to today. This is not a show for the faint of heart, I guarantee you that. There was a video that I saw not too long ago that explained that just because this show includes themes of bullying, childhood bullying at that, suicide, affairs, and most of all, the after effects of trauma, doesn't alone make it a good show. And I am one to agree with that sentiment. The reason why the show is as good as it is because it doesn't hold back. This is a show where nobody is in the right and there are consequences to be had. And the multiple POVs that span throughout the show are indicative of that. Blood is spilled. Murderous intent is there. Everyone is helpless and they're all just kids. No kid should ever be put through what these kids went through. It's heartbreaking to think about it every single time. And that is the biggest reason why this makes for a story that is worthy of an Anime of the Year selection. S tier. The Summer Hikaru Died. Let me dish out a little bit of lore about myself. I am deathly afraid of 2 things in this world. Bees and lightning. Horror as a genre is just below that level. But because I wanted to step out of my own comfort zone, I figured, why the hell not? So I watched the show. And I gotta admit it, guys, this is incredible. Every scene, and yes, every single scene has so much detail in it that it allows its weight to really be felt. I never knew I could like the unsettlingly kind of horror as much as I do with this show. And this show's OP, along with Gachiakuta, are some of the most visually stunning that I've ever seen. Every character that has even a little amount of screen time has the opportunity to show off their personality and shine. And while yaoi bait is not my particular taste, it's done tastefully here that it not only can make all the Fujoshis go crazy, but it also makes sense in the story. Guys, this is coming from someone who absolutely despises horror. You need to watch this one. S tier. The Water Magician. This is probably the biggest mixed bag of the season. Which, to be fair, after everything I've rated so far, it does kind of come as a shock, relatively speaking. Some scenes you'll have stellar animation and insane action, and other scenes will have you sleeping through it as if you were watching beginning after the end. Honestly, the story isn't anything to write home about, but there's a lot of likable characters here, and their personalities alone show the good to great chemistry between everybody and make it semi-worth watching. I liked its world building, and I really liked how creative the main character was when it came to experimenting with his newfound ice and water powers, and I especially liked that everybody that wasn't the MC got their own chance to shine when a seemingly world-ending threat was right on their doorstep. Other than that, though, not really much else to say about it. C tier. Bowling. Wait. Isekai? Yeah, the first episode was a surprise that I unfortunately got spoiled on, but the rest of the show is good. I can't say I'm too attached to most, if any, of the characters at all. And I also wasn't a fan of the fake out they did when they had the perfect chance to get back to their own world and then they just didn't. There's no other way to describe why that occurred other than plot. But for what it's worth, I do like the chemistry between the main cast and their creative ways on how to have fun in their new world and how they fight off bad guys and whatnot. The conflict between them as well is interesting too, and the display of the political and cultural customs of the historical characters was also engaging and worth investing in. Just like Water Magician, a bit of a mixed bag show. But this really does have one of the more heartwarming endings to a show this season, and it made me pretty happy. Low B tier. Ugly Mug Epic Fighter. I guess this is where my hot take is gonna be. This one is going to be underrated by the anime populace, but hear me out here. This show was created by White Fox. What else did White Fox create? ReZero. They came in with the mentality that not every protagonist has to be hot, and that's okay. Fat, ugly, balding, Shigeru is your man. Almighty God, Shigeru is your man. As for the rest of the show, I'd say it's a little bit more interesting than your average isekai. Power system is low-key interesting, and the motivations of the villains are pretty well done and cool. My favorite part, though, is how the only nerve Shigeru has is if he touches any woman at all, he basically almost dies instantly. So if you think about it, he may not be able to get some ass, but at least he can touch some grass. B tier. Vending Machine second season. Okay, I have a second hot take here. I understand that this is the fourth straight isekai I'm ranking in this video, but I promise this is the last one. But this one is also really freaking good. If you remember my ranking of the show from last year, you'll know how surprised I was by how good it got. And this show's second season has some way, somehow, become my comfort slop. Not Dandadan, not Kaiju number 8, it's this. And I genuinely don't think I'd be able to explain to someone why I like this show so much if they're just a casual anime watcher. But this show just hits the right spots for me. Every new character that gets introduced just feels like a seamless fit in the world and becomes memorable in their own way. And the emotional investment gets turned up a new level because of the twist that I won't spoil. But for me, this show is legitimately a diamond in the rough and is a standout that I'll be sticking with to the end. A tier. Witch Watch Second Core. Ichi-ni-san, 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 Ichi-ni. Subscribe. Like Sword of the Demon Hunter, this was the only other carryover from last season. But luckily, this one has managed to carry over the quality and all the aspects that made it so likable in the first place. The whole squad is finally together and their comedic antics are taken up a notch. But really, I want to talk about the real standout of this core so far, and that's Keigo the werewolf. His bond with Nemu in particular has probably become one of, if not my favorite part of the show, and even with all of its comedic parts and gags, the amount of wholesome vibes in the show exceed off the charts, and it makes for top 10 cutest shows of the year, if there even is such a ranking. Everyone, and yes, I mean everyone, in this show is very likable, and I'm excited to see how the relationships between the main cast progress, and I especially can't wait for the main villainous prophecy to unfold later on down the line. While I figured that some jokes wouldn't hit as much, I still had a really fun time with this show. B tier. That is the entire list, and I told you before, there are so many great shows this season. Do not be surprised if by the year-end ranking video, half of the spots, or hell, even more than half of the 10 slots are occupied by shows coming from this season. And yes, while I didn't watch everything due to time constraints and me being a busy bitch, I know that shows like Dr. Stone, Grand Blue, Call of the Night, and several others are all getting their critical acclaim, and rightfully so. This really has been one of the best seasons of anime I've ever watched, and could go down as an all-timer when some time has passed and we're all looking in retrospect. If you like this video and have your own input on which show should go which tier, go ahead and drop a like first, and then tell me your opinion in the comment section. I read all of them and respond to most of them, and I'd love to start up a conversation. It's for the love of the game, after all. I also have a Twitch channel that I stream multiple times a week on, and we talk anime a lot and play fun and rage-filled games sometimes. So if you want to stop by and say hi, or if you want to support me on there, I'll leave my link down in the description. I appreciate all the love and support recently, especially on all the shorts I've put out up to now. So with all that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.